So filming the intro at the end like normal, and the weather has cut things a bit short, so not much really happens in this episode. There's a little bit of welding, a little bit of cutting, and a little bit of beginning to plan for the next week, but I think this is going to be a short one. So the first step of the process is just rust neutralize everywhere that I can reach. I got a bit excited here, all this stuff's getting cut out, but I covered it anyway. So we'll let that dry, shoot some primer on it, and then I think the next step is putting this piece in from last week. Here it is, all clamped in place, primed up, ready to go, hopefully. Next step, weld this in. You can see the reason I kept the outer sill in place is so that I have a reference of and somewhere to clamp this new panel. So once I've got this in, I can then cut that part out and use the inner sill as the reference for that. But this is what we're dealing with, all primed up around there, looking pretty nice. Left-handed is the way. You all know what happens welding left-handed. It's gotta be terrible. Not bad, only welded the hammer slightly. Oh. Nice. Oh my goodness me. Every time I forget how bad this is going to be. Oh well. All good fun. New location. Not upside down. Everything looks good. As ever, not pretty, but we're getting there. It does not look good, but we press on. Oh boy, we are having quite a rough time down here, but I think we're moving slowly in the right direction. And look at this, we can remove that. It is at least in place, so a bit of grinder time now. Yeah, it's always bad. We all know this. It's always rough. So here is what's going to be the finished product for now. If you were expecting it to be perfect, I don't know where you've been. Clearly not watching my videos. But this, I think, is going to be good enough. Seam sealer will save us. And on the inside, possibly hopefully when I start taking out this part, I'll have some better access to weld a little bit further back. But even if I don't, I think this is still acceptable. With this repair completed to the highest quality it's ever going to reach, the next question turns to repairing inside here. Right, we need to repair this part, which will become easier to see soon, which means I need to cut out this section here, kind of a straight cut down here, round here, which will expose the inside, and we'll see how we go. I'm going to wire wheel this section here because I'm planning to cut along here, which means I'll have to weld into here, so I want to make sure that I have good material there to weld into, and if it's bad, then we need to rethink the plans a little bit more. So on this side at least, that looks good. May need to go slightly higher than I had expected. Maybe this line is a good place to go. Slightly below. I'll start low and then cut more off, in the hopes that that will give me something good. Hopefully not a huge mistake incoming. The plan is to just come straight along here and maybe like level with the top of this hole. Oh man, this is taking ages. Let me just... So, now we have our first real good look at what the hell is going on inside the outer sill. Here's a review of what I've been able to see, and I've tried to show you before. Inside that outer sill, we have this part, which is quite rotten, and we also had on the other side of that sill panel quite a lot of rust. So even though it looked pretty solid from the outside, I think it is best that this is being repaired or replaced. And I'm quite pleased with how far down I've gone there. I could go a bit further, but I think most of the issue stops about here. That's okay. Further's not too bad. This end's easy to make. It's really just where it meets the wheel arch here that's a little bit more challenging. And as you can see, the freshly welded in inner sill there, quite solid, and now gives us the reference point of where to make the outer to go into. Alright, more of the same camera angle coming up. I'm just going to wire wheel this and see how much is, or see at what point does it get good. Okay. So it seems like it doesn't actually go too far up. Obviously this is quite flexible just because it's not attached to anything at the bottom, which we can fix. Up inside here is a bit worse, so we might need a slightly different approach to that. Yeah, we may need to go slightly further in. It would probably be best to go slightly further in, I think. It's just corroded a little bit further in there. So for the sake of making maybe 5 centimeters more of this panel, it's probably worth cutting more out. Okay, there we go. Use a bit of low cycle fatigue. Alright, so this has been a very uneventful episode, but I think it's going to have to be left here because I need to do some thinking about this, and it's starting to rain, and that's just the way it is. So what I'm thinking I will do is cut off kind of along here to about there, down. So I have to remake a bit of this whole dimple dyed kind of thing, and then here it will go down, avoiding this hole, to there, and along the bottom just flat the whole way. It's also going to have to tie in because everything welds up together in here. So as I have to remake the parts inside the wheel arch, I'm going to have to remake this and figure that out, which is I think once I work it out, it won't be too difficult, but right now I don't know how to do that. So this is where I'm going to leave this, I suspect, very short episode. All I really did was weld this in and cut this part out, but such is life. It's starting to rain. I need to put everything away. See you next week.